I was wondering, what is your prediction for MicroStrategy top, not the value, just the timeline versus Bitcoin top? And are they running in the same line? As we all know, when bear market starts, Bitcoin will go down and MicroStrategy too. So I'm trying to figure out when to sell my stock. Better to pay taxes versus have the 50% drop. Let me know your opinion. This is a great question, and it's one that I've been hinting for a long time. We are 2/3 the way through the bull market, but something is different this time around. And let me try and explain it with this simple little chart and why. Although we spent years building tools to identify tops and bottoms, this time is a little bit peculiar, and it can be explained in this simple chart. First of all, this is the Bitcoin growth per president. And there's a very funny thing that happens with Bitcoin. It follows presidential cycles. 4-year cycle. Typically, when Bitcoin started, there was a new president, and on and on and on, which is kind of bizarre. But what I really want to break out here is the performance of Bitcoin during these cycles, which is what makes it very interesting. So when we look at this chart for a second, this chart shows you how Bitcoin's value has grown during different presidential terms. It starts fresh at the beginning of each term to make it easy to compare. Shout out as well to the Rational Root for this beautiful chart, which I am using, and I have vandalized a little bit, but that's okay. So the point of all this is, if you look, the first cycle, wow, there was no hindrance, as the Rational Root says. There was nobody trying to kill crypto. And the second administration during crypto's life, the Trump administration, there was no hindrance. During the third one, under a guy called Biden, there was a lot of hindrance. The SEC, Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army, choke point 2.0. I mean, the hits kept coming. We'll talk a lot about hits, but what's interesting about this is there will be no hindrance this time around. In fact, there could be the opposite. There could be a ton of support for crypto, as we've seen over the weekend. And the new team in charge, wow. We have Gary Gensler gone. We have the head of the FDIC gone. We have the head of the FTC gone. And now we have a whole bunch of new people like Paul Atkins and others, Bissett, and you got David Sachs, yada, yada. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Now, while Bitcoin may not grow as fast as it did in previous cycles, it could. It could. And I'll explain why in 2 reasons. 1, Bitcoin is harder than ever before. Okay, it is scarcer than ever before, and now it's a bona fide asset class. And 2, the new government supports Bitcoin. So could we really kick off? The answer is, it won't take a lot to send this thing to the moon. If certain things happen, like strategic Bitcoin reserve, continued adoption, another 40 billion from the ETFs, Saylor continues to buy, then things get bonkers. So that's the first chart. Second chart. Now, I can't tell you when. I can tell you if we follow historic cycles. Means we have probably 8 to 9 months left. But if this new administration is very supportive of crypto, which it all looks like it will be, and the whole administration from top to bottom across all the different departments of regulation, etc., and to make the US the crypto capital of the world, wow, things could kick off. But in the meantime, let's look at our top and bottom indicator. So you can see here, we are orange, big dip, despite the price being over 106K. As I speak, we have yet to hit dark orange, and we have yet to hit red. When we hit dark orange and red, then we should start getting concerned, but none of that is showing up right now. We are far from overheated, far from overvalued, which tells me we have a long way to go. And this model is based on 21 different on-chain metrics that are weighted in a composite score that are driven off a bunch of activity. And we spent years analyzing historical cycles and how you can tell when things are getting very hot. A whole bunch of stuff. So I still have a lot of confidence in this model, and we are fine for now. So the question is when? Not sure. 9 months, or we could go up forever, just as gold did after the gold ETF was launched. We shall see. The difference between gold and Bitcoin, Bitcoin's a lot harder, a lot scarcer, and it's so finite. And the long-term holders are 70% done selling. So there's not a lot to get your hands on if the big money comes. And that's why we're seeing game theory happen all over the place. I could write 5 articles a day on game theory across the planet. I should do that actually in my spare time. I don't have any. That's why I'll never reach out to you one-on-one. Anybody that does is a scammer.